Contract ID 25GE0072. Conservation and restoration of Gabaldon and other heritage school buildings East Valencia Elementary School, Buenavista, Guimaras, located at East Valencia, Buenavista, Guimaras, with an ADC of 9 million and the source of fund General Appropriations FY 2025, with contract duration of 150 calendar days and cost of bidding documents 10,000 pesos. Contract ID 25GE0073. Repair, rehabilitation of classrooms Hordan National High School, Hordan, Guimaras. Poblacion, Hordan, Guimaras, with an APC of 23,250,000. And source of fund, General Appropriations Act FY 2025, and contract duration of 250 calendar days with the cost of bidding documents of 25,000 pesos. The scope of works for 25GE0072, DPWH Standard Specifications for Public Works Structures, Volume 3. Part A, Facilities for the Engineer. Part B, Other General Requirements. Part C, Earthworks. Part B, Reinforced Concrete. Part E, Finishing and Other Civil Works. Part G, Electrical. And Part H, Mechanical. The scope of work for 25GE0073, DPWH Standard Specification for Public Works Structures, Volume 3. Part A, Facilities for the Engineer. Part B, Other General Requirements. Part C, Earthworks. Part D, Reinforced Concrete. Part E, Finishing and Other Civil Works. Part F, Plumbing. Part G, Electrical. And Part H, Mechanical. Major categories of works for 25GE0072. BIRS, Buildings Restoration. Similar categories of works: BIC, Buildings Completion. BIC, WOPHT, Buildings Construction without piles, high-rise concrete frames of stories. BIC, WOPHT 16, Buildings Construction without piles, high-rise concrete frame, 16 and above stories. BIC WOPHS, Buildings Construction without piles, high-rise steel frame, 6 and above stories. BIC WOPHS 16, Buildings Construction without piles, high-rise steel frame, 16 and above stories. BIC WOPLC, Buildings Construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. BIC WOPLS, Buildings Construction without piles, low-rise steel frame, 1 to 5 stories. BIC WOPMC, Buildings Construction without piles, WOPLC, Buildings Construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5. WOPMS, Buildings Construction without piles, medium-rise steel frame, driven piles, 6 to 15 stories. BIC WPH CCP, Buildings Construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast and place piles, 6 and above stories. BIC WPH CCP 16, Buildings Construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast and place piles, 16 and above stories. BIC WPH-CDP, Buildings Construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, driven piles, 6 and above stories. BIC WPH-CDP 16, Buildings Construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, driven piles, 16 and above stories. BIC WPH-SCP, Buildings Construction with piles, high-rise steel frame, cast and place piles, 6 and above stories. BIC WPH-SCP 16, Buildings Construction with piles, high-rise steel frame, cast and place piles, 16 and above stories. BICWPHSDP buildings construction requires high-rise steel frame driven by 6 and above stories. BICWPHSD P16 buildings construction requires high-rise steel frame driven by 16 and above stories. BICWPL CCP buildings construction requires low-rise concrete frame cast and place piles 1 to 5 stories. BIC WPLCDP buildings construction requires low-rise concrete frame driven piles 1 to 5 stories. BIC WPLSCP buildings construction requires low-rise steel frame cast in place piles 1 to 5 stories. BICWPLSDP buildings construction requires low-rise steel frame driven piles 1 to 5 stories. BICWPMCCP buildings construction requires medium-rise concrete frame cast in place piles 6 to 15 stories. BICWPMCDP buildings construction requires medium-rise concrete frame driven piles 6 to 15 stories. BICWPMSCP buildings construction requires medium-rise steel frame cast and place piles 6 to 15 stories. Similar categories of works. BICWPMSTP buildings construction required medium-rise steel frame driven piles 6 to 15 stories. BIR buildings repair. BIRN building renovation. BIRS building restoration. BIRTH buildings retrofitting high-rise. BIRTH 16 buildings retrofitting high-rise 16 and above stories. BIRTL buildings retrofitting low-rise 1 to 5 stories. BIRTM buildings retrofitting medium-rise 6 to 15 stories.
Major categories of works for 25 G0073. BIR Building Repair. Similar categories of works. BIRTH Buildings Retrofit. BIRTH 16 retrofitting high-rise 16 and above stories. BIRTM Buildings Retrofitting Medium-rise 6 to 15 stories. BIRTL buildings retrofitting low-rise 1 to 5 stories. BICWPL CDP buildings construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame driven piles 1 to 5 stories. BICWPH CDP buildings construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame driven piles 6 and above stories. BICWPH CDP 16 buildings construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame driven piles, 16 and above stories. BICWPL CCP buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, concrete frame, cast and place piles, 1 to 5 stories. BICWPH CCP buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, cast and place piles, 6 and above stories. BICWPH CCP 16 buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, concrete frame, cast and place piles, 16 and above stories. BICWPL SDP building, construction with piles, low-rise, steel frame driven piles, 1 to 5 stories. BICWPH SDP buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, steel frame driven piles, 6 and above stories. BICWPH SDP 16 buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, steel frame driven piles, 16 and above stories. BICWPL SCP buildings, construction with piles, low-rise, steel frame, cast and place piles, 1 to 5 stories. BICWPH SCP buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, steel frame, cast and place piles, 6 and above stories. BICWPH SCP 16 buildings, construction with piles, high-rise, steel frame, Cast and place files, 16 and above stories. DICWOPS, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise steel frame, 1 to 5 stories. DICWOPHS, buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, steel frame, 6 and above stories. DICWOPHS 16, buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, steel frame, 16 and above stories. BICWOPLC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise, concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. DICWOPHC, buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame, 6 and above stories. BICWOPHC 16, buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame, 16 and above stories. BICWPMCDP, buildings, construction with piles, medium-rise, concrete frame, driven piles, 6 to 15 stories. DICWPMCCP, buildings, construction with piles, medium-rise, concrete frame, cast and place piles, 6 to 15 stories. BICWOPMC, buildings, construction without piles, medium-rise, concrete frame, 6 to 15 stories. BICWPNSDP, buildings, construction with piles, medium-rise, steel frame, driven piles, 6 to 15 stories. BICWPMSCP, buildings, construction with piles, medium-rise, steel frame, cast and place piles, 6 to 15 stories. BICWOPMS, buildings, construction without piles, medium-rise, steel frame, driven piles, 6 to 15 stories. For BICWOPMS, buildings, construction without piles, medium-rise, steel frame, driven piles, 6 to 15 stories. BIC, buildings, completion. BIRN, building, renovation. BIRS, building, restoration. The required pickup license for 25G0072 are as follows. Size range small p, license category C and B. Single largest project must be less than or equal to 15 million pesos. Allowable range of contract cost is up to 30 million pesos. For 25G0073, size range medium A, license category B, single largest project 15 million up to 75 million pesos. Allowable range of contract cost is up to 150 million pesos. The general conditions of the contract, special conditions of the contract, specifications, drawings, and bill of quantities are uploaded in the FieldChef's website and DPWH website. The documents comprising the bid, legal documents, FieldChef's registration, SEC registration or DTI registration, mayor's permit, tax clearance. For technical documents, statement of ongoing contracts, statement of bidder single largest completed contracts, pickup license or special pickup joint venture license, bid security, organizational chart, list of contractors' major equipment, list of contractors' minimum materials testing equipment, omnibus sworn statement, IPR and financial statement, and FCC computation, and valid joint venture agreement if applicable. For the financial documents requirements, financial bid form, bill of quantities, detailed estimates including summary sheet, quarterly monthly cash flow, and payment schedule. All documents shall be printed in A4 format, tabbed and bounded. Please attach the bidding documents in the technical component of your bid. For bids to be submitted electronically or online, the following procedures should be observed following DO 87 series of 2020. Number 1, submission of electronic official receipt of purchase of the bidding documents. Number 2, confirmation of the electronically submitted official receipt. Number 3, preparation and submission of an electronic bid. Number 4, notification of an electronic bid. 5, non-participation in the bidding. 6, withdrawal of electronic bid. 7, opening of the electronic bid. And 8, file name convention in case of a joint venture bidder.
Bid opening for 25 GE 0072 and 25 GE 0073 shall be on February 26, 2026, Thursday, 9 a.m. at second floor bidding room, DPWH Guimaras, District Engineering Office, San Miguel, Huerdan, Guimaras. Bids will be open in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend. Late bids shall not be accepted. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically or online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for the preparation and submission of an electronic bid are contained in the PTS. Bids must be duly received by the Box Secretariat for manual submission or at electronic bids underscore Guimaras at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission on or before February 26, 2026 at 9 a.m. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB 1216.
We acknowledge the presence of Engineer Feliciano Ingenio and Engineer Honey Grace Perez from the Division Office.
Any clarification?
This country, without for presentation, because ang atong i-repair is kailangan i-impress ng group. First, one. And then, ang ano sa airplane. So, dan pala, journey. So, 31 ka classroom, and then, our natin is 250 calendar days na siya. Ang isa na ano na is, kung i-divide namon, ang ano is per room, at per ano lang niya, is bali 8 calendar days lang per classroom ang level ng duration. So, ang ginano naman is, ano niya is, paano ang pag-cluster naman kay, ang sa ano naman is, masabay-sabay na ang pag-bramo. So, ang school, ano ang ano sa school? Kay kung siguro, hindi pa man nato mabalaan kung pareho din may nabiting nato na ngayon sa 26. So, ang ano niya is, ano nato, din sa NTP siya, pang nato na March, April. So, hindi siya, ano, kay, ano po naman siya klase, pero pag June, may klase na. So, paano ang pagkasal sa school nga maubra ang ma-implement naman ang project. Kumana siya. Kailangan sa classroom, kailangan sa building. 21, 24, 24. Like, almost one classroom. Pinag-aralan ng school.
May 2 story pero ang sa cover niya is 2 flats lang. Pero ang equivalent is 2 flats. Ang take mo, ang
Hindi naman kaya siya lang po siya na. So, hindi ko na i-equate na sa part of the class because ang element na seasons.
Bali, ano na rin, ma'am, nakasuri ako si Ma'am Sara. Ang hambal niya is possible na gamitin yun na area is ang gym. Dila niya ma-display sa mga student. So, gaano siya kung kung dira maabot ang estudyante tama.
So, may
Temporary facilities tama.
But actually, ublan na po tayo because they create a class na 80 classroom. So, start ng mga. So, the pay have solution apps. Kita pa ka ba? Actually, may harap sa para sila ng 10. That is good for 18 classrooms. 18 classrooms pay na style during earthquake. 3-story in for safety. So, sometimes they have bad appearance. So, but then, nagula ko dito sa province sa particular servers sa klase. So, if that would be the case, for example, sa center, so it also is the same. That's the lower.
Sa uli na portion.
Yes, portion.
Kung hindi karoon na ako, is dapat, kinopili ng contractor,
Yes.
nakaredy na siya. At then, naman, siyempre, sundan lang po ang ready
Space of production sa office, release ko ni 3 or 5 classrooms at yung police. At least namulan ko at the same time. After that, yung sa mga sarili ng others of it, at isa pa that area.
So, ang assumption nila, ma'am, ang pwedeng mag-simultaneous na mag-bookta is 5 classroom. So, kung nakakompute na, ma'am, ng 8 days per classroom, di ba? Bali, ang 5 na ma'am, magtungan sila, equivalent na siya sa 40 days.
Ang sa 8 days. Hindi na
Yes.
Hindi ka na sila na right? Yes ko. Ayaw ka na
Ma'am, bali, based dun sa namin, sa lupa, nag-base sa unit, output, for the ceiling, yung compute naman na isa ka classroom. Sa ceiling works, matapos siya within 8 days. Ang ceiling works. Ang more on ang ceiling works, roofing, painting works, man lang siya mo. Kung 40 days doon magdungan-dungan sila, basta kasi ang 40 days para dun sa scope sa scope of works. Tapos ma'am, di ba magpa-5, ang 5 classroom naman sa lunch. Bali, ipunin man ang, let's say, mga 6 to 7 days, ma'am, ang pag-transfer. Tapos regarding naman sa mga, sir, sa mga ang gamit sila sa sunod, sir.
Ang school lang nagagawa niya, ilang na ang siya, ang mga
Once you start the school,
sila na nagagawa nagagawa sa sulod. Pero mas
Tapos yung sir, yung mga demolished materials, putang ng sagwa. Tapos punta lang.
pero hindi naman kasi puno dito sa layo to. Hindi lang ako baka
Ang nagsampa na kami mga sinin para sa mga kaibigan namin ito.
Ang chimpo yan wala nung ginagawa. So, hindi ka mag-expect gawin. If 250 calendar days, tapos na siya. Kasi ang ating nadaan nga sa buwan na ito, makasigil ka nag-approve.
wala kang magkakaisyon.
Ang
Extension
Kapag sa school, board nyo sa dala, ang ganda mo nakita kung may post-work sense ka posting. So, Siyempre, mostly po, may two-story lang building, then roofing. Hindi, siyempre, ma-charge na sila mo, sila.
Sa buildings.
Ay, wala ko, ko lang
Ang second floor.
Proof lang. Kasi ba?
like, painting works to, story lang, check. Siya, wala, kasi na, single, or wala, sabi ba, kaya na, sa holding, kasi wala sa section.
I-fill na. Sige ma'am, i-fill na lang ako ng stock para lang dito sa two-story.
Consider nyo si Ivan, ilang kami mga tosto, si ano na, or,
Yes.
siya kayo, kami sa,
So,
So, kasi.
so, sinubilig ko nito na kilalas nito, dapat ka sa sente, nakakatabihin mo yung fix karaoke, siyempre, na po, kung nila ko na yun, so, once nga naka-award na nila, NTP ko, award ka ng calendar list.
Award ko
Contract, award,
contract to NPP.
3 days lang, so, workout, clearance ka lang. Pag once ka na NTP effectivity na, talaga na ng duration ng factor mo. Kung hindi ka to limos, kay 31, bakta ko siya, and then, ang area na to, ba? Isip ko saya, tapos pasok sa akin, hauling nas materials.
Ang sabi ko, ito ko sir, sa materials. Kaya ang na to, siyempre, masunod. At ito mo, hindi yan. Kaya nga pagkanaog niya sa materials. Para na, ihal ko na yun yung contractor, ito sa mga rooms. Sa mga rooms.
Dati lang kita nila kasi pa-consult. Materialist pa siya.
Basta ka dito sa kanito, ako, nakaragali ko. Sa kwalita ko doon, ako lang na nag-estimate sa 43 room. 150 lang ganyan ako. Kaya wala isip, kaya wala pa akong repair. Kaya wala mo, sa part na mo kung repair na, wala pa ako panubayo. At extend ang bansa nila sila, kung ilang nila lang bansa kabataan. So, kung malikawan, kasi kung mga mo, nag-aarap sa mo, kung nabugay, iba, dahil mula, pag kami, yata yung extension, sa request ng contractor, kaya, ang performance ng school, apektado, kung wait lang na oras sila sa buwan.
Hindi comfortable. So, ang tawag na classroom, sa positive lang kung nag-construction kita, may workout kita, or nag-impose kita. Yes. Sila mga portion.
Portion by portion, ang actually, kung banya, kaya ang parte na sa mga kuwan. Hindi na ito, agad ko kaya na ako sa mga pinamalot na materials na kung basta, gano'n na sa loob ko, wala. Ang mga sila, inasubot mo na naman nila na i-close nila sa pan.
Ano na siguro, mas kahit alam, mas okay, sa plano, kung diin ang in-priority unahon sa section by section.
Actually, wala mo ito.
I-present ako kung sa whoever mo yung mga nagtaon. Plus ka na ko sa
Kung meron lima lang may ito ka classroom. Full hour.
At ba, wapin siya ang muli, tatlo ka din din. Papat yung Brian, hindi sila ako ni. And the next naman, long nito na sa section. Sa school, ano mo na, 10% sa inyo, hindi ako na area.
Classroom ka lang.
Na para sa ako na unawan nyo. The next na po, yes.
Ikaw, pwede kasi tayo. Oo, tama.
Observe theater.
Kaya nakakuha ka ito.
Sa first one. The first one.
Parang ewan may edisyon. Sa lang ko na nag-export. Tanong. Kaya, respected para madala ng ila sila ng kanya. Ang mga utilities na ba? Kurente, tope, geblag lang, balang na ito na, parang preman, pre-banders, tawag mo rin. Ikaw po yung ito po.
Charge sila ng restaurant.
Paano ba ito nag-stream? Paano mag-stream? Slash props namin. So, prepare mo naman po every month. Ito.
Seventeen point.
Paano? Roman, nanalimin ka sa ang pilato.
Wala nang good sa pot. Yun ang naman, please, don't you know, ako na ito ka.
Kaya ginapal ka na kasi.
Kaya balikan din. May ano pili ka mo, or sabi na, kaya ako sa ano sa iyo eh. What's wrong?
Kung nagpapakita ko naman, siguro ang dami ng stanyo, pilato sa mga tublan, pag sila to, daw mga band cuts.
Business sa Peter ko na. Sa Peter sila. Hanggang sa Peter. Dapat nabi, after sa nabi, pag ang sa Peter ko, kasi pag ano mo sa schoolya mo pinag-filaya, ako malaya, ilan na eh, ganito, isa sa Peter ko, this yung texture. Kasi iba ano, iba na Sunday, sila, pre-con na, parang sila sa agreement, parang sila,
Ako nga ako, ako mag-repair ko, ginamok na. Hindi ko pa yung kurumit, kaya tayo dahil sa inyo nga mga gamit ka mo.
talagang mo yan sa inyo,
Sige dito. Kung sa ka, ginapadel ko sa principal, ginapadel mo ko sa superintendent, may ginamok. Wala na, pero naman sa partner's call, hindi naman na pwede nga ipon sa isa lang sa lugar ang mga sino na kaya yawan. Sila putang lang skilled, hindi lang mapanang bataan.
di man, ang safe man sila.
No? Total tali sa pre-con naman na isa, pero tayo mas mayon rin na lang daan kasi
Kaya, is okay, ako nag-agree. Ano to sa ano kasi kung kung sila officers.
kung may naglaong na kamo na ambal na ba, ganyan,
Oo, dapat pagsunod yung implementation, mas clear na ang sunod pictures ko sa siyempre for puno.
So, that's why before sila bro, mga gaan kami mga co-weeks.
Before
Pero sir, hindi lang bidding kita. And then, pag ano na naso, lang sa
pagkapos may ano na lang sa work, the budgets. Kasi dahil there for sa taong
hindi ka talaga kanilin. Sa first na siya na may ano na, may lupa. And then, for individuals clear.
Oo, para hindi man nga, buwas na basta sila mo comment. Basta sila mo comment sa kung kaya mapabalot, siyempre.
Basta kung may awareness sir, informs for
pero dapat mas suggest sila malasis strategize na kung sige, pag-priority niya pala, para more nasa isang part yung isa sa ulam sa may clear na siya, din po na masunod si contractor. Make sure si contractor lang na, kaso sila na, puro taga, kami kasunod.
Para mapag-apila, kundi ito hindi strategize sila kaya ako yung tao na to.
Sige ba?
Bakit mapag-anak ko? Kundi na pag-susunod. Ulit, naka-identify na sila.
Kailangan sa finance
Maybe ang sa grade 11 o outcome mo na, naton or grade 7, in the area, grade 8. Yeah, parang ako din naman, kinapos pa rin.
Stay na scheme lang pala ko. Mas diras lang. Para pag na matapos eh. Extra month na yun. Kasi di wala mga
Kaya kamu to yung brand ko yapa na hindi na dahil ko ng mga kupon. Pero hindi ka ako magaling lang na pinisig sa bata. Mga first okay ko lang. Tutulungan na yun. Depende sila. Kaya yung samon dahil sa bang, kutsin mo, hindi. Kung hindi, 2025 kung minsan ako. Paano niya siya mong continue kung samon na pag-take siya mag-pass sa next year? Ito siya kung nag-pass na self-run to 50.
Summer.
So, section pa na, di ba?
Pero kung mag-applicate,
Hindi, sa akin lang, saan ma-obligate? Kaya kung tinuwin sa mga, kung current siya, if 2 years lang yan, wala ako, kaya naman ang bayan, may lagay, kung pili na ba?
kaya na siya.
Kaya ko na ako, kaya naman, maraming ko sa head lang. Sama ko yan, mas pasingin.
Sila ano sila, yung kaya, mas parang sila. Eh, dapat, minin sa December. Hindi,
Sa kalaya, repair man.
Ko, straight na
20. Pinaka-date ko sa 19 lang.
kasi ako, fund na to, obligate na to,
Ma-expire sa
expire sa December.
Basta ma-gate mo lang.
So, probably sa mga makapans ko yung podcast mo.
Ano naman, basta mag-gate mo lang siya, dipito na nila.
Sa quarantine na rin na.
Anyway, so,
Importante mo obligate siya.
hindi na mag-gate siya, kasi di na, sirayin na to eh.
Oo. Yun hindi, ang naman wala. Dapat, nung nagtuloy na ako, mag-gate yung report. Yun lang pag-basket ko sa mga wakit na mayroon.
May,
So, di ka prefer na mo.
kasi siyempre may mga spend kami, meron pa ganito yung mga implement.
Pero sa mga
Ang importante, malang siya sir.
Yeah. Pinakawag na kumabalik.
So, hindi, ano,
Since all concern has been addressed, this activity is adjourned. Thank you.